everybody, how you doing? I'm Meredith, and listen, I'm just a girl stuck in my apartment looking for someone, well, anyone other than my fiance, who I love dearly, to talk to. So I found some people. This week it's all graduates, high school, college, students that have graduated, but no graduation ceremony because of the pandemic. My guest today is Kendall DeVecchis. She's a senior at the Gloucester County Institute of Technology in the drama department. Kendall, let's talk about it. Take me back a couple of months, early March, when the pandemic was really ramping up, all of this was starting. Did you think your high school graduation was going to be canceled or at least very much transformed?
Definitely beginning of March. I just turned 18. My school musical was the week after we left. My last day was March 13th or 14th, I believe, that Friday. So we were just told that Friday. We hadn't heard anything yet. I had rehearsal after school for my show, and the teachers were kind of having a meeting. They were hearing some things that we might switch to online learning for 2 weeks, and then we didn't hear anything. The next Saturday, I was in my tech week, so I had rehearsal at school again, and then still hadn't heard anything. That Sunday, I was out looking for dresses for prom with my friends, and we got an email from our superintendent and our principal that we were going on a 2-week break, online learning, just so, because that's all they thought, 2 weeks, coronavirus will be over. So that happened, and then after the 2 weeks, we were realizing that this wasn't just going to be 2 weeks, it wasn't going to be a month, it wasn't going to be 2 months, that this might last the majority of my senior year. My senior year was going to end, and that Friday was my last day, and no one had any idea. So I would definitely say in the beginning, that week of those last weeks of March, early April, it was a very difficult, hard period of time. I didn't really understand what was going on. There was no certainty of what was going to happen in the future. So I think that was the most upsetting part, that no one had a plan and no one could have a plan with these circumstances. But as time has gone on, and into May and early June now, it's really, everything has kind of mellowed out in a way, and I think I was able, and a lot of my peers were able, to come to a stage of acceptance with everything going on. And as of now, there was nothing that could prevent this, so why waste your time still kind of mourning my senior year in a way, because right now there's so many other issues going on. So it's kind of moved to a place where, yes, we had our time to be sad, but now it's really, how are we going to go on from this?
That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
You're in the right place. I want to know, so you're in the drama department. You're a senior in the drama department. You're about to have your high school musical. What was the show? What was your role? And what happened to performances?
Okay, so my senior musical was Heather's the Musical. It was never on Broadway. It was off-Broadway, 80s movie, Winona Ryder. I was playing Heather Duke, which is kind of the antagonist, one of the 3 Heathers, not the best girls in the school. And so we were told that after the 2 weeks, the show would go up that week. We would have 2 rehearsals, because we've already been through tech. Everything was pretty much done. So we would just have 2 rehearsals, and we'd go right into the show week.
Initially, did you think this will be a nice little, I'll rest, I'll take a break, and then rather than go right from tech to a dress rehearsal and up, this will be great. I'll take a little break, and then I'll be all fresh for my senior musical.
Definitely. I got on the Facebook group that we have that day. When I found out, I was like, guys, we have 2 weeks to prepare everything, rest up, get ready for this performance that's going to happen in 3 weeks. I was very thankful. I was like, okay, this 2 weeks is what I needed. We were all starting to get run down, as you do during tech week. So I was very ready.
The break came, and this sounds okay.
Definitely. So then after the 2 weeks, we got a message from my director, and it was a letter from the superintendent, and it basically said that in the summer, our theater had to get renovated. They were getting new seats, they were redoing the dressing rooms, the bathrooms, because it's a very small theater and it's been around since the school has started, I think, in 2001. So it was time that they did a little renovation with the lighting and everything. So then they said, since there was no really insight of us going back after that 2 weeks, that they were going to start renovations for the theater that week instead of when they were supposed to start in July. So now they were starting in March. So my director, she's an amazing human being. Her name is Katie Knobloch, and she pretty much said to us that this isn't going to happen now, as we were pretty much thinking, but she knows how important this is to especially the seniors. She's the senior drama teacher at GCIT,
Mhm.
and overall, she's just a person who cares most for her students. So she was pretty much saying, me and the whole production team, we're leaving this in your hands. If you want to come back in December and at Christmas break and put on a show during Christmas break, we're going to put on the show. If you want to wait till next summer, we're going to put on the show, because she sees the hard work that all of her students went through, this production team went through, everyone. So she was not going to let, and is not going to let, this whole production go to waste.
That's wonderful.
She's the best. Mhm.
Or have those plans altered at any point? Because I would imagine, did the renovations actually start since the world shut down, not just, productions?
They did start, yes, when I was at the graduation drive-through the other day. I saw like the huge trash bins, and I knew that that was our chairs from the theater. Yeah, so and then I called my teacher, and she was like, "Yep, those are the chairs." So, yes, it'll be a little interesting when I go back to see what it looks like now.
How did you cope with one thing after another being taken from you? I mean, it couldn't have been easy.
It didn't all happen at once, which I think was a good thing, that it wasn't like, here's a list of everything that's getting canceled. I'm going to send it out on this Monday and that's it. It was really a progression of things happening. And I know that unfortunately these things were canceled because there was no other option. I know our administration tried so hard to keep our senior trip. It was rescheduled to a different date and later in June, because my trip was scheduled for this week, the 1st through the 4th, and then they pushed it
Where were
back
you
until
going?
we were going to Walt Disney World. Yes, so that's where we were supposed to go, and then they tried pushing it back even more. They gave people the option to drop their deposit, or if you wanted to get it pushed back, you can get it pushed back. Um, and then ultimately they couldn't keep it because Disney's not opening until at least July. So it was a lot of things that got canceled all at once, but in a period of time. So I think that that was a good way to cope with it. And I think that, as like bleak as it may sound, that when a lot of things get canceled, you don't really have any hope of anything happening at the end. So it was kind of like, I'm already expecting this to happen. After talking to a lot of my friends, I know that the only thing we really wanted at the end was graduation. Like, besides our musical, like, graduation was the one thing we wanted. And so to know that we had slash will have a semblance of that is a good thing. So it's really just being with the people who are going through it with you. Like, I know I couldn't talk, my mom and my parents would always like be like, is there anything you want to talk about? Like, how can we help you? But it's really not the same. It's really nice. And I think the way a lot of us got through it is having friends who are experiencing it with us, and they really understand what we're going through. So
Mhm.
that was really like the saving grace and everything, that it's not that it's just happening to us. Like, you have a whole community of peers around you.
How did your parents react to all of this? Were they devastated that, these moments were taken from them as well?
Yes, my mom especially was completely heartbroken for me for everyone else. She's a teacher, so she was heartbroken. She teaches kindergarten, but she was still had to deal with like the online learning and going from it. And she was so involved in my whole high school experience. So she was looking forward to all of my lasts. And I know all of my friends' parents were like, at the ceremony on Tuesday, I was calm, cool, and collected, but my mother was in tears. She was doing worse than I was. So I think in some ways it might have taken an extra toll on her than it did for me.
Talk to me about, you become a senior and you have certain expectations, uh, of what these milestones are going to be. What were you thinking, or most excited about when it came to these special moments for you?
I think the two things that I was so excited for was my musical and my senior trip. I love Disney. I've always loved Disney, and so a lot of my really close friends have never been there. So I was so excited. I was ready to take the reins and show them this place and let them have a good time, and I was so excited for that. And then of course my senior musical, I'd always, I think the one thing image in my head I always envisioned was my senior bow on the stage, because they always make it a huge deal closing night for the seniors. It's a whole ceremony. It's very emotional. So I think that was the one thing I was ready to take my senior bow on my stage with my friends, see my parents in the front row. And that was the one thing where I was like, wow, that's the one thing that hit me. I was like, I will never get my senior bow on the stage. Like, even if the show is rescheduled, that's one thing I'm never going to get. It's never going to be the same. So I think that was the one thing in particular that hit pretty hard for me at first, and I know affected a lot of my friends a lot. But once again, my production team is amazing. They all, like 6 of them, drove in their individual cars. They came to all of the seniors' houses, blaring the music from our show. They had all of our awards. We get like a plaque with the shows we were in at the school and our names and the gifts that they give to the seniors. So that was something that was really special. And I know I would have never had that opportunity if this didn't happen. And it was just that was probably the best day out of this whole pandemic for me, that they did that and we all had no idea. And it was kind of like a happy turn of events that came from it. So that was really special.
Now, take me back just to graduation. Describe to me the experience. So you've had the drive-through graduation experience. Talk to me about what that was like, how your peers appear to be taking it in, and and then what you're looking forward to with the ceremony come July, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So definitely from the moment me and my mom pulled into the back of the school, there were banners, 2020 posters, everything. My school has always been, and especially during this pandemic, very like senior forward. They've been trying to do all that they can. So we went through the back of the school in it's like a long driveway that goes around into 2 different parking lots. So we came in the end. From the moment, there were a bunch of teachers and faculty members with posters, with megaphones, and standing on both sides of the drive. So we would pull in, and then both sides, they were announcing our names. We got to decorate our cars. They were screaming, having a big party for us. And then you would see like 2 teachers that you had, and they would lose it, and they would come over to your car and talk to you and cheer you on. And then you would pull up further, and the whole faculty and staff made little goodie bags for the senior class. So we got a t-shirt with the GCIT logo, and it says Senior Strong on it. And the same emblem is on a drawstring bag, and it was filled with like a GCIT cup and gift cards and popcorn from the shore. It was so much. And then you would kind of turn the bend to the right in front of the school, and it would just be like a line of cars. So how it happened is it was in alphabetical order. So I was D, so it was A to D. So I got to see 4 4 of my friends walk across the stage, and it was so amazing that I got to see that. I saw them get out of their cars for if you're in thespian society, which I am, they got the medals the day of that we got to wear with our cap and gowns, and just to hear their names being announced and seeing them walk across the stage and everyone cheer for them was such a great experience. We were supposed to leave right after, but my mom and I kind of snuck and stopped behind the stage because one of my best friends was right behind me. So I got to watch her walk across the stage and everyone cheer her on. And it was an amazing experience because the morale and the hyperness that everyone has during these particular graduations, we wouldn't have got from a regular one.
What are you hoping with this July ceremony?
My hope is that even if I can't have my family sitting with my parents, I hope that maybe they'll have something around where like people can sit in their cars and watch, or maybe like on bleachers. I don't know. So that's the one thing I'm hoping. And I'm just really excited to get the opportunity to sit in proximity to my class and watch them, especially my drama class. There's 18 of us. So just being able to see everyone walk across the stage and to hug my drama teacher. I feel like that's the one thing. I was like, I haven't hugged anyone since March, and that's the only thing I want to do is like hug my friends. So if that happens, I'll consider it a win.
What's next for you? What are your plans post high school?
So I will be attending the University of Central Florida in Orlando, and I am majoring in entertainment.
Right near Disney. You
I
can go
know.
all the time.
That's the one thing I was like, so my friends and I have already planned that they're going to come visit, and I'm going to give them a proper tour. Yes, and I'm majoring in entertainment management, so I hope to continue acting down there, voice lessons and everything, but I'm really excited to start having like another way of seeing the whole entertainment industry, and that's what I'm really looking forward to.
I feel like for a lot of people in a variety of, spheres, people are opening new chapters in their life and starting new chapters. You would all feel like your high school chapter is left unclosed.
Definitely, especially in the beginning, I was like, my high school's not ending and I'm going to college, and I never even said goodbye to high school. I was like, I'm not ready to say goodbye to my friends. I didn't know this was happening. So it was definitely a conversation I had to think over with myself. Is the world going to open in the fall? Will I even be able to go to college? Should I wait a year? It was a whole difficult, confusing conversation that I really had to have with myself. And I know a lot of my friends had to do the same thing. A lot of my friends, especially going into the performance industry, if schools aren't going to be open in fall, why are they going to go for acting and then have to do it over Zoom? So it's a lot of difficult conversations that we had to have with each other, with our teachers, with our parents to decide what is the right decision for us. And a lot of us are going off, a lot of us are staying home, a lot of us are deferring our acceptances. So it was at first, it was definitely very scary and confusing. And I know that I think early April, mid-April, we had one of those like parking lot social distance in our cars, and we met up, and that was a big topic of conversation, what everyone was doing, how everyone is coping with it. And it was a lot of mixed feelings, but I know we all had the agreement that we don't think high school is over, and I still don't. People are posting pictures from their graduations on Tuesday, and I was like, I don't even think I graduated yet. I didn't get a diploma. Like, yes, my classes are over, but I didn't get anything. I was like, I don't think I'll graduate till July. So it's a lot of weird feelings and thoughts that everyone's having, and everyone's really dealing with it in a different way.
So what are your plans? Is the university planning to be open for the fall, or are you going if it is?
So at first, I was really contemplating deferring until the fall semester, the spring semester, I'm sorry. I emailed them and I was like, what are you guys doing? Is any word being out? Because they really haven't released anything yet. And then, because I was enrolled in the summer B semester, so that's when I planned on starting. I was like, I'll start summer B, at home, online, and then in the fall I'll move down to Florida. That was what I always had figured out. I want to start early just so I can get classes out of the way before I get down there.
Mm,
And then everything happens and I was like, well, now I'm starting in the summer and I know that's already going to be online, but what about the fall?
right.
So they said we can offer you spring semester if you want. So I sat down and I talked to my parents and I was like, I would not mind moving to the spring semester, but I think I would be a little upset if they decided to open in the fall and I wasn't there. And of course, it's a whole financial question. It's a lot of money going to college. So it was a question with my mom, and she was like, let's talk to them. So I was able to only take one summer class online. So I only have to take one, and I'm finishing up classes at the community college. So I think if they decide to open in the fall, that I will be going down. But I know that I have been reading. The school hasn't announced anything publicly yet, but I know a lot of schools will have people until Thanksgiving break, and then we might not be back till January, which is the beginning of the spring semester. So there's definitely a lot of unanswered questions right
What do
now.
you think you've learned from this whole experience? I mean, it has to have shaped you in like a really profound way.
Yeah, so I've definitely been someone who's always said that everything happens for a reason. I'm was a firm believer that no matter what life throws at me, it's for a reason and I'm gonna grow from it. And of course I thought like little things like I'm gonna do bad on a test one day, but this in particular has definitely showed me, and it was a little confusing at first, and it made me really question what I've been telling myself all these years. I'm like, why did this have to happen? Why do people have to be dying around me? Why does my senior year get to be taken and everything? It was a lot of questions I was having with myself and with my friends, and no one really had the answers to anything. So as of now, it's really the whole thing I've learned from this, and especially now with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, it's definitely that everything is bigger than us right now. And it can't be that, why did this happen to me? Why is everything bad happening to me? It's really showing me, and everyone, I think, my age, that this world is bigger than we are. And everyone said that class of 2020, you're going to do all of these amazing things. You're going to take the world by storm. When it needs to be saved, you're going to save it. And now we're realizing that this world needs to be saved and conquered a lot sooner than we expected it. So now it's kind of like we had our time to deal with it, and now it's time to prove to ourselves and to everyone else that this is the time that we really need to be adults, and what we need to share our voice to the world, and we need to fight, and we need to just be the leaders that if this was supposed to happen and it's supposed to happen to us, it was supposed to happen for a reason. So I know I'm not going to let that reason go to waste, and I'm going to do something with it.
Well, Kendall, thank you so much for talking to me today. You're very inspirational as an 18-year-old and someone getting ready to go out into the world. Perhaps you're right that you've started making discoveries already, and I can't wait for the world to experience them for you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this time talking to you about everything.
Well, you also did my fiance a favor and you gave him a break. So I'm asking somebody else and he gets some quiet time. So
Great.
and we'll talk to you next time on Let's Talk About It.